Hello, my name is Cindy. Welcome to Snacks and Stacks. I am running an experiment for this year. I really want to read more of the books I own, and I really want to read series, completed series together. And the reason for that is because I finished the Winter Night trilogy and it was excellent, and all I want to do is be immersed into one world and also finish books that I own. So I have a stack. You'll see in this clip, I was going through all my first books in a series and figuring out which ones were completed series and which ones were not. And then at the end, I had 22 first books. I have 8 duologies, 8 trilogies, 5 quartets, and 1 that has more than that. And I have all my books behind me here, and I'm going to probably start reading just 1 or 2 chapters of each and deciding whether I'm going to, 1, unhaul them, they just don't interest me anymore, or 2, if I am interested, what's my level, what's my mood, am I into it, which one am I going to continue with, and then whatever one I pick, that's the book series I'm going to try to finish like back to back to back. And so that's my experiment. Hopefully I can, kind of get through these books and not in like a race way, but in a way that makes me feel really happy to own the books I own. I think I had a visitor come and kind of was like, have you read all these? And I felt a little bit ashamed that I haven't. And just because I read over 100 books every year doesn't mean I read the books I own. A lot of times I will buy books that I know I want to try to read, and I will kind of judge if my library has them easily or not. The books that I have are She Who Became the Sun, This Poison Heart, Foul Days, We Hunt the Flame, House of Salt and Sorrows, Song of Silver Flame Like Night, 6 Crimson Cranes, Blade of Secrets. Those are all my duologies. And then the trilogies are The Blade Itself, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, The Cruel Prince, The Wolf of Oren Yarrow, The Knife of Never Letting Go, Half a Soul, This Woven Kingdom, and The Justice of Kings. The quartets I have are 3 Dark Crowns, Skyward, Scythe, The Demon King, and An Ember in Ashes. And the one that has more, the first book is called Furies of Calderon. It's a Jim Butcher series, and it's got a lot of books. I only have the first one of that book, so if I do like it, I'm not sure what that means, because then I'll have to figure out how to read the rest of them. So it might not be as cohesive with my I want to read the books I own goal there, but yeah. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna do it all on camera, but I'm gonna start reading a chapter of these, and I'll take notes, and I'll come back and let you know which ones I decide to unhaul and which ones I decide to kind of like have a hard time picking, because I think that will happen. All right, I'll see you guys. I have read the first chapter of these 3 books so far, She Who Became the Sun, This Poison Heart, and Foul Days, and all of them are good. They're all going to be keepers. So far, the most interesting one that I want to continue are probably going to be between these 2. She Who Became the Sun had a very gripping first chapter. A lot happened, and I'm very interested to see what the magic is in this. I think it is just that she can see ghosts, and I love the time period, and I already am like so fascinated by the main character. So there's that one. This one I think will be a very easy read, and I think it'll be fun. The main character has like a magical power that does with growing plants and making plants that the plants react to her, and nobody knows why. No one in her family really knows why, and she's thinking with the title is that she also has an affinity with poison, like she's eaten something before and didn't get poisoned by it. And so this one's also very interesting. This is urban fantasy. This is historical fantasy. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's just that it's very similar to the Winter Night trilogy and the type of monsters and folklore that it explores. And I'm wondering if I'm going to get the two kind of mixed up. I probably won't, but I also am just like eager to try something new. So I think one of these two is so far the top ones, and I have more to go, but I wanted to give you guys an update. And yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing, but hopefully this becomes a fun video. Bye. I remembered the transition this time because I'm actually in the middle of editing these and realized that I never finished. I didn't talk about it. I was like, what did I even say? Because when I originally recorded these, they were like in January. So yeah, it's been quite a year and it's only March. So if that gives a say to anything. I also recorded the next one in this little vlog vertically because I was thinking it might be cool to just run these as shorts maybe. So I'm just going to insert this little frame here. I picked She Who Became the Sun. That first chapter was so amazing. I actually read this first and I just kept thinking about it throughout everything. Even though I was going to read the first chapter of every book that I pulled out, I ended up only reading the duologies because I kept thinking about the first chapter in this book. On the other hand, I am now 7 chapters in, which is 112 pages, and I don't like it. Ugh, I'm so bummed. I'm DNFing. I pulled these, and I have both of these books, and I pulled them out. I'm considering unhauling them. I don't know if the book is for me. So even though the first chapter was great, I thought I was gonna like be on a certain type of journey. The rest of the book, once I got to the second part, I feel like I was like, oh, this is a military fantasy, historical military fantasy book. I am so confused. And I know there's so much I can learn from reading stuff I don't know, but I am so confused. I'm so confused. I need a reading guide. So I don't know if this is a book that I might be better at reading later along the line. Like maybe I need to read something else first. But for now, I am stopping here. I can't keep going because I have also read the beginning of this book, The Poison Heart. This is a YA book, so of course the reading experience is just a little bit easier, but I also want to know what happens in this book. It was very close in the first, second, third, like when I was listing them out, and I'm extremely interested. And it's also about to be spring, and I feel like it would be a good time to read it. So I'm swapping over to this book and potentially unhauling She Who Became the Sun. So yes, I DNF'd She Who Became the Sun. I have both the books in my unhaul box right now, but I'm still going back and forth on whether or not I should keep them, especially since I've rearranged my bookshelves by genre now instead of by color, because a lot of the series I started collecting had different colors and it's driving me nuts. So yeah, I also took some older books out and put them in the attic, and so I have room for new books, so I could just keep them. But nevertheless, I did finish This Poison Heart and its sequel, This Wicked Fate. I was able to borrow that ebook from the library, and I quickly finished both books. I really enjoyed the first book so much that I think I'm gonna keep it by itself, even though it ends on a cliffhanger for the second book. The second book was not great, but it was good. So overall, this series is probably like a 3.5. It does not like the ring light, so I've got to put it over here. This series was probably like a 3.5, 4. It's just the second book felt really rushed, and I felt like I didn't get to fall in love with the characters enough. Although in this book, I really enjoyed everything going on. But I think my hesitancy sometimes with urban fantasy is that it's just not realistic enough. Because it's in the real world, it takes me out of all the magic that's happening. So a lot of things that happen in this book, I'm like, that can't possibly happen. Even though I really loved like Sabrina and the Teenage Witch when I was younger, and that's kind of like the vibe, is that there's all this magic and things happening in the real world and people are just oblivious. And I don't know if I would believe that so much as an adult. But I think as a YA book, that it's great. And the black girl magic in this is great. I love the plant magic so much more than the Greek mythology combination, but I think that it was a great series. So now I am currently in the middle of a book club read and a buddy read, and have to start another book club read. So I won't be able to do my first chapter, my completed series experiment anymore as of right now in March, but I do want to continue to do it. Once I'm done with my 2 book club reads, one of which is Earth Abides, and the other one will be The Wedding People, or is it Wedding Person? It's the one with the hands. And then my buddy read, which might take forever because we're physically writing notes and then passing it back and forth every few chapters. So, and once I'm done with these 2 book club books, then I will go back, and probably this time I think I'll pick a trilogy. So I'm gonna go in and read all the first chapters of trilogies and go from there. I don't think there were any duologies that I wanted to read right away, right now, but by the time it's end of March, I might actually just pick up one of the duologies that I liked as well, probably between Blade of Secrets or 6 Crimson Cranes, because I already have both of those second books. And when I was rereading all the first chapters, I really like I was reading them pretty easily. Like I was like, oh, this is nice and easy. I would say Song Like Fire, Flame, this book, I felt that the intro was a little harder for me to get into. I do remember that in my notes, so maybe that is like a much later thing when I have more patience. Right now, I got a lot going on in my life. I kind of just want to read a little bit easier things. So, thank you so much for watching the first part of this experiment, slash challenge, slash, I don't know what to call it. Should I call it an experiment or a challenge? What do you think? Let me know if you've read any of these books, duologies, and highly recommend them, because that would be a great thing too. Like, just maybe you guys can vote between all these books I have. Which one do you think would be most, interesting for me to start next, while I read these other things? So, thank you so much for watching. Happy reading, happy binging, happy snacking, and I hope you guys have a great March. Bye!